All right, we'll give people a few minutes to come on in. So if you're rewatching this YouTube live later on, after it was already live, just skip a few minutes ahead. As we prepare, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be important stuff. I say, give people about 3-4 minutes, my friends. Piece of paper and pen usually helps. Hello, I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you guys? This will be recorded, yes. Let's get the technical stuff figured out first. Can everybody see me and hear me? Comment below if you can see me and hear me okay. Yes. I have recovered. Yes. All right. About 1 or 2 more minutes, my friends, and then we'll get started here on our, I keep saying Facebook Live, I think, and YouTube Live. We've done so many Facebook Lives in the past that has become ingrained, I guess. Okay, Francis McAllister, thank you. I can see and hear just fine. Awesome, technically. I'm a little blurry. Is that the same for everybody else? My phone seems to be pretty good. I don't really see a blurriness here. Wonder what I can do about that. This beautiful community that we have. Some important insights, my friends, today, and there's a technique that we're going to do that's literally going to change everything. So, get ready. Yeah, as I mentioned, the paper and pen helps. Please do connect with one another in the comment section. Do speak with one another. Do ask quality and outcome-focused questions with one another. Let's make this not about what you hear from me so much and to apply that, but to build a foundation here, build a community of people that are on their way to better days. So, thanks for joining me on YouTube Live, my friends. I don't know exactly how long we're going to go for today. I might spend some extra time just kind of hanging out, asking questions later on. But there are a few things that, if it's okay with you, I'd like to share with you today. A couple points that I want you to consider and reflect on. Okay, and I want you to write down these points and see how they relate to what you're going through, number one. Number two is, if you would like, I planned on creating an image cycling session here. Let me just keep the comments on so I don't have to keep scrolling. Yeah, an image cycling session with you. I want to teach you about image cycling. I work very heavily with imagery, somatic engagement, so using the body while you're doing imagery exercises and such to reframe past and to reframe future experiences. So we're going to do one of those if it's okay with you. Please comment below if you'd like to be a part of that. fine. Tav says it's all good. Tav also gives some good advice here at the bottom for people that seem to have a blurry screen. How's everybody doing? Comment below and just tell me how things have been lately. Be honest. Be brutally honest. Share some of the challenges in the comment section, please. Share some of your wins and your progress in the comment section, the newest clarity that you have ran into. Let's see how you're doing. It's always nice to know where people are in their lives and really helps me going forward. So how have things been? Let's connect. Feeling stuck, okay? Specifically, what are we stuck with? Jess, how you doing? I hope everything's all right. Jess Nunez, health-related anxieties, back after being diagnosed with gallstones, nervous about needing surgery. But I started the health anxiety program again. Good. Okay. Jess, also, if you go to the reframing playlist, there will be a reframing exercise there that says future transformation, and that will help you get through this surgery, at least mentally and emotionally, right? Which, of course, physically you will as well. Week 6, day 5 of the panic release program, panic attack program. Very good. Making progress, Amy. That's nice to hear. Nice to hear. It's been a stressful week. Reese Creek, I don't know if I said that right, decided to hit the beach today and helped take some of the stress and anxiety away. Nature tends to do that, absolutely. All right, good. Awesome person, AP. My job wants me to start doing sales, and I'm having a lot of ruminating thoughts about this. My hourly pay would be based on sales. I've been at this company for 6 years and I feel lost. You know, what's really important, my friends, is to get to a place where you consistently see certain ideas as not necessarily the truth behind a situation. You know, we get to a point in the healing journey, you know, if you're doing some of my programs and such, that we start to look at ideas and thoughts as different from actual our ideas and thoughts. There's a difference between replaying thoughts and creating thoughts, right? If you're replaying thoughts, those tend to spider web with one another, and they seem to be on the threatened side of things or the fearful side of things. That's kind of the replaying. Very much not connected to truth, but more so stories to keep you in an anxious state. And then there are the creative and conscious ideas that we have where we start to go, you know what, this is just something else. This is just another experience that I can grow from and something that will help me in my life in this way. So I think we have to stop taking our thoughts so seriously, and we have to work on that, because there's a difference between replaying thoughts and creating thoughts, right? So, awesome person AP, I bet in the next couple months you're going to look back on this fear and go, why did I spend so much attention and energy on this idea, on just this threatened idea? We're not so much dealing situationally with things, we're really dealing with the fear of change, right? We're dealing with the fear of uncertainty. We're dealing with the fear of something that doesn't feel familiar to us, right? So when you look at something and you're going, oh, that's going to go wrong, right? Or I'm afraid of X. It's not so much that you're afraid of X, it's that you want to have a certain level of control and certainty around your life, and this one experience kind of threatens that. Okay, so we get to the point where we look at each situation and go, you know what? It's not so much the situation, right? It's that I'm trying to really, I'm being really rigid with my life in some sense, and I'm really looking to keep this level of control and consistency in my life so that things don't go wrong. So it's very important that we do this, but I want to share with you a couple of points before we go any further. Okay, these points you can write down, right? You can. I'd like you to reflect on them. I'd like you to think about them, but we're going to touch on the health, anxiety related aspect first. Okay, and the point I want to make is this: can you live with the idea that your health doesn't have to be perfect in order for you to feel good about yourself in your life? Let me repeat that again. Can you live with the idea that your health doesn't have to be perfect in order for you to feel good about yourself in your life? Can you live with that idea? Right? Too often we're looking for perfection. Right? We're looking for perfection. And when it comes to a lot of the health anxieties that we hear recently, a lot of people can go through their day with a lot of progress being made, with a lot of ups, with a lot of momentum on their sides. And then a symptom or a sensation will arise, right? And that perfect day at that point seems to be imperfect. And, they are drowning because of this experience, internal or even external, and they get caught up in it, right? And when they get caught up in it, they generalize the entire day as being a bad day, right? Or they label themselves as, oh, that confirms the fact that I am an ex-sufferer. But let me tell you something. Your health doesn't have to be perfect in order for you to live with inner peace and true, genuine happiness. You have to stop looking for the perfection in things. Okay, you have to stop looking for the confirmation in things that agree with the way you want things to progress, right? We're always looking for the result, the outcome. What's the outcome going to be? Okay, many times with this health anxiety journey, when there's a symptom that arises, right? I believe Dr. Gabor Mate has a lot of great content, absolutely, especially with related to childhood trauma. 100%, I would dive into his books. But where was I? With the health anxiety stuff, right? A symptom doesn't mean an illness. A sensation in the body doesn't mean a disease. A heart palpitation doesn't mean a heart attack. What they really mean, okay, at the deepest levels, what they really mean is a bodily message where at the root lies your own inner child, subconscious mind. Okay? So when your body starts to scream, what your system wants you to believe is that it could be connected to the worst possible scenario, because that's the very thing that you have been investigating most often. You go on Google and look up heart palpitation. I promise you're going to find a lot of stuff related to the oh gods, okay? Like, oh God, how's this going to end up? What's going to happen to me? Am I going to be a victim like my great-great-great-grandfather who had a heart attack or stroke or whatever it is? And you start to go down that rabbit hole, okay? So it's very important, starting today, that you understand that your health doesn't have to be perfect in order for you to live in inner peace, in order for you to feel connected to this world and to manifest the things that you want, to be happy, to genuinely feel like, for the majority of the day, you are at peace with yourself and the world, right? So stop looking for perfection in things, right? Cheryl, how are you? Good to see you. Jody's here. Awesome. A lot of people from the Facebook support group. Nice to see you all. Hope everything is going well. Let's see here. Does that make sense? Does that speak to you? Give me a comment below and tell me. Does it speak to you? It wasn't until I started to group all these sensations and symptoms in my body to being connected to something other than what I thought it was connected to, if that makes sense, right? For a very long time, I had connected the bodily screams, sensations, and symptoms to it being connected to doom and gloom, right? The worst possible scenario, because that's where I spent most of my time. And if you live in survival mode, right? If you live in a state where your sympathetic system is activated more often than your parasympathetic system, then what's going to happen is you are going to fall for the interpretations of your inner child. You're going to fall for them. You're going to be a victim to them, right? And you're going to go, oh God, this could happen to me. And to make sure it doesn't happen to me, I have to make sure that I'm standing guard at every moment in my life. I am ahead of the game here. So I got to make sure that I don't experience X. And we stay in survival. We go about our days thinking that survival is normal. Okay? Survival mode is not normal. Okay? Yes, our ancestors had the same parts of the brain when they were experiencing saber-toothed tigers and such, and necessarily having fight or flight when it was needed, right, at certain times of the day. But it wasn't triggered all the time, as is the case today because of so much stimulation in the world. Okay? So when you get a sensation or symptom, let's touch on this first. These are bodily messages. Okay, these are lifestyle messages. These are trauma-focused messages. These are emotionally suppressed messages. These are messages. Okay, and when you start to build a new relationship with your sensations and your symptoms, you're building a new relationship with your body. When you're building a new relationship with your body and you're going, hey, I hear you. I hear where you're coming from. Okay, I hear you. And instead of doing X, I'm going to do Y instead. I'm going to do something different this time. When you start to have that kind of approach, you're rebuilding the relationship with your subconscious. When you're rebuilding the relationship with your subconscious, you're rebuilding the relationship with your own inner child. Okay, there's love there, there's acceptance there, there's understanding there, but there isn't franticness. Okay, we're moving away from franticness, okay, because it's not so much that we're dealing with, and I'm going to touch on this in a second, so I'm not going to actually go to that point. How do we keep body and mind separate? I don't believe you can. I don't believe you can. The body and the mind have a feedback loop between them, okay? The body is the subconscious mind, but so is the unconscious mind. Okay, so in essence, if we want the body to be healthy, okay, if we want energy to be flowing through our bodies, if we want to feel better about ourselves and our future and such, we have to stop succumbing to certain ideas and start creating new ones. Okay, that's kind of that's good. Like, that's a good start. Okay, but remember that many times when you create new ideas and you do affirmations and such, they don't really hit at an emotional level. If you want things to change, you have to change them at an emotional level, right? A lot of people out there do exposure work, for example, right? Which is great. You do an exposure work. I'm going to expose myself to X and Y. I'm going to spend time here. I'm going to step out of my comfort zones. Okay, but if you're doing that while you're restricted and you're in survival mode and you're hoping that time goes by very fast, then you're not helping yourself. Okay? the way you do exposure work is to truly put your heart into what you are doing, right? Does that make sense? So if I'm going to expose myself and go sit at a cafe, for example, right? I'm going to do it in a slow manner. I'm going to make sure that my body is engaged in the right way, right? Within the environment that I'm in, okay? When you fix the body, many times you fix the mind, right? So when the breathing patterns fit with someone who wants to live in inner peace in this environment, in this situation, the mind starts to go, oh, I guess this is safe, okay? When the posture is correct, when your speed is slow, when you're speaking slow, when you are connected to your environment, you're looking around, what do I see, hear, feel? Very much connected to mindful practices, okay? When you do these things and you are present, the mind starts to go, we are safe. Body, mind, mind, body. I believe it's easier to change the mind through the body work than it is to change the body through the mind work. I don't know why we spend so much time on the mental health aspect of things. I don't, right? Because imagery, somatic engagement using the body has a much deeper and quicker effect than, playing this tug of war with our thoughts. Okay, Mel H., slowing down has helped so much. Well, exactly, because slowing down is a physiological response to things, right? Yes, you make the decision to slow down, and you slow down, but you're slowing down your body. You slow down your body, you'll slow down your mind. Many times when you try to slow down the mind, though, the body still feels unsafe. What are we trying to do here? What are we trying to do here? Why are you here? I'll tell you why you're here. You're here to show your body that the situations that you encounter throughout the day, the environments that you spend time in, right, are all safe. They're not connected to the traumas that you experienced when you were a child. That's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to create safety for the body, which is the largest part of the subconscious, right? So that's your goal. Hey, body, we're safe here. Let's slow down, right? We don't need to be so analytical. Let me give you another problem that we're running into in today's world. I don't think this is in my notes, top 3 things I wanted to share with you guys, but write this down. This is very important. We have placed way too much value, tremendous amounts of value, high amounts of value on overanalyzing things. We have created so much value to this analytical mind that tends to run things in our lives. Value. The moment you stop analyzing something, you start to get afraid because you won't be able to figure out what the answer to that problem may be. You have a very difficult time leaving things alone. True or not true? Right? A sensation arises, right? It wasn't until I started to leave them alone that they started to heal. A situation happened. Someone was unapproved of what I had to say or do or whatever it is. I left it alone. I had a setback throughout the day. I left it alone. This is a practice. It's really a skill set because I don't believe anxiety can go away until we start to devalue the analytical mind, right? We start to see beyond it. We start to leave things alone, right? So check in with yourself right now. Am I overanalyzing everything? And if so, why do I do it? What's the outcome that I keep chasing that I never seem to get? Right? Would this be true for you? Let's lessen the value of the analytical mind. Let's heighten the value of your heart that says, you know what, everything's going to be fine. Let's live a more carefree life, and let's start placing less importance on suppressing things, keeping things inside. Let's be more expressive, right? Physiologically, let's be more expressive. You know what I do when I ride the scooter? I'm always humming. I'm always humming. Here's a beautiful technique that you can use starting today, right? 4 seconds in through your nose, 15 seconds if you can, a nice little Om hum. By the time you get to the third or the fourth one, your mind will want to interfere and say, what the heck are you doing right now? Are you crazy? Right? Very, very powerful to stimulate the vagus nerve, okay? To stimulate the vagus nerve, you want to use that technique, okay? You want to increase parasympathetic activity so that you can create balance in mind, in body, in spirit, right? So very powerful. As you're going through the day, you got nothing to do, your mind tends to wander at certain times, focus on one. Just focus on that specific technique. Very, very good. I have read A Course in Miracles, yes. Dr. John Sarno's books are fantastic, yes. What's the biggest clarity you gained so far from this YouTube Live? Michael, how are you? Michael, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for committing. Vicky, good to see you. Wow, got a lot of familiar faces here. All right. Since I got an Apple Watch, I had cardiac anxiety. Sorry to hear that, Phineas McClintock. Maybe there's an association there to the watch. Maybe there's a technological fear or something there, right? I don't know that person, Muhammad. I'm sorry. I'm doing well, Ranjit. How are you? Good to see you. Awesome, Michael. You're getting some progress. Excellent. Oh, thank you, Vicky. That's great. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your efforts. Patty, good to see you. Okay, I am definitely giving too much value to overanalyzing. Yes, and more than anything, I'm gonna bring to your attention things that are out of your attention and your awareness, right? And when I do that, it's very important that you go, man, I'm really doing that, and it's time that I dedicated myself to a different kind of approach, right? So placing too much value on overanalyzing things just so that you can get closer to the outcome that you want will drain you. It will drain you of your focus, your energy. It will drain you of the present moment. And at the end of your life, you don't want to look back and go, man, I lived a really comfortable life, right? And I was in control of everything. You don't want that. You want to say, I made these great memories, and life was spontaneous, and I really followed my heart rather than following my analytical mind. Okay? That's what you want to say. Point number 2, many health anxiety sufferers, apparently we're on the health anxiety side of things a little bit today, so if you were looking for something related to health anxiety, you are in luck. Many health anxiety sufferers think that their obsessiveness with their health is the main problem, when in reality it comes down to the obsessiveness to maintain that sense of certainty and control over their lives. Okay, so many times when we think the physical symptoms are the problem, the actual problem is the obsessiveness that we have over trying to maintain a sense of control and certainty in our lives. Let me tell you something. If you heal health anxiety but don't heal yourself at an emotional, energetic level, right? If you don't change the meaning of things, then what's the point of healing health anxiety? Just stay there, right? Because often, if you get kind of sick of the symptoms, but maintain who you are as an identity, you say, yeah, I'm an anxiety sufferer, I'm an over-worrier, I like to keep control over things, I'm a perfectionist. If you continue saying those things about yourself, then you're just going to transition from one anxiety to the next, right? And what's the point of that, right? What's the purpose in that? Okay? You have to change your I ams to I am doing, right? I am not anxiety, but I am overanalyzing things, right? I am not health anxiety, but I am overly concerned about my health. Okay, I am not an identity, but these are things and actions that I'm doing on a daily basis that make me think that I am the disorder that I was diagnosed with. Okay, you are not the disorder that you were diagnosed with. Okay, that's the starting point. That's all it is. It's not an identity. Okay, so many people unconsciously on their forehead write, generalized anxiety sufferer, or health anxiety sufferer, or panic attack sufferer. And when you carry that label with you each and every day, you will continuously check in with that label. And when you check in with that label, you're going to be pulled back into your comfort zones. Okay, and you don't want to live in your comfort zones. No, no, no. There is no life there. Okay, there's comfort, there's living comfortably fearful there. Do you want to live comfortably fearful? I don't think so. Okay, so these words need to speak deeply to you today. Okay, because whether you've heard these things before or not, you're still where you are. And there's a reason for why you are where you are, right? It's no accident. Anxiety is no accident. Dennis, Mohammed, how are you? Dennis says, all anxiety disorder caused by childhood trauma, or doesn't have to always be? Interesting question, Mohammed. All anxiety disorders caused by childhood trauma. Now, this is my interpretation. You can ask 100 different people, you'll probably get a few different answers. Most likely, okay? Most likely. I'll say that. But let's also take into consideration that what we think are traumas many times are not traumas, right? Not real physical traumas. They're just having an experience. Like, if I come to this world with a slightly more sensitized system than somebody else, and I'll use this example again. My parents take my toys away when I'm a kid. Some kids are going to go, oh, okay, I'll just go play with this one. And then other kids are going to go, oh my God, they took my toy away, right? How could you do that? You're a disgrace, how could you possibly do that? You're supposed to be helping me. You are my gods, you are my parents, right? And that becomes their trauma. So anytime in the future when they start to commit to something, there's an underlying feeling that it's just going to be taken away from them anyway, right? Starting with the toys being taken away when they were a kid, okay? So we're not all the same. We are all quite similar in a lot of ways, but we're not all the same, okay? So the response to an experience when you were a child for one person can be different for somebody else, okay? Now, the underlying reasons for that, go guess, okay? I mean, it's possible that when you were in the womb and mommy was experiencing certain emotions, ups and downs, so were you, right? When there was a financial crisis between your parents, someone passed away, and your mom and your father, within that energetic environment, felt down and depressed and anxious, so did you, right? So whatever happened in those 9 months with mother, with father, within the environment, also happened to you. So there's a good argument there that says, you know what? Whatever happened in the womb also affected us in terms of how we reacted to certain experiences when we were children. Okay, sometimes it's a trauma and other times it's just something that happened, right? But with that said, it's very important that you start your journey cleaning up your past. I truly believe that. That's why I do so many reframing practices with people. Clean up your past. You clean up your past, you'll clean up your present, okay? And your future will be different because of it. Yeah, that was point number 2. Point number 3, another health anxiety. Look at that, okay? Patty, let me speak to you today. Okay, let's really get to that place where we are emotionally connected. These aren't just words. Let's get to a place where you start to really reflect a little bit and go, man, like, damn, I really understand the roots of why I'm here, right? Eric Paz, much love. Jose, yes, loud and clear, fantastic, good stuff. Dennis, how do you handle anxiety after a breakup? Look for the positives of the breakup. What's great about it, right? Better now than when you're, further along in the journey. Okay. What else? What else is good about it? Right? What are you really appreciative that you learn from the other person? Okay. So if you want to change the way you feel about something, change the meaning of the experience. Okay, and then go live it out. Don't just change it at a mental level, mental health, right? Yeah, you can change it at a mental level, but you also got to change it at an emotional and physical level, right? If I go, I'm grateful for the relationship, we were together for 6 months, I learned a lot from that person, I learned a lot about myself, I'm glad it happened this way rather than when we're married later on. I'm glad, I'm happy that the relationship is over. And you start building all these things, but then you go into an emotional state where you're like, oh, but I miss her. Okay, all of those things will get canceled out. We don't want that. So the emotions, the ideas, interconnected, and you go and live it out. Okay, just because you say, Grandma passed away. I'm so very sad, and the grieving process is normal, of course, okay? But at the same time, Grandma taught me so much. She taught me to be carefree. She taught me to live my life in the moment. She taught me to, to believe that I could, recreate my identity. She taught me so many things, Grandma, right? She passed away. I'm sad about it, but I'm not going to be hung up over it for the rest of my life. Okay, I'm moving on, and I'm moving on because she would want me to move on. You see how I'm placing new meanings on an experience, even losing a loved one, right? This is the key, right? But again, if we stay focused on the ideas and they never get to an emotional or behavioral level, you're not acting out the ideas that you want to believe in, then you'll revert back to sadness. You'll revert back to anxiety. All the things I'm telling you today, you have to feel at an emotional level. And you have to go live them out. Okay? Not a fake it till you make it kind of approach, but practicing until you become it. Practice the new you until you become it. Because let me tell you something. A lot of people in today's world, okay, are faking who they believe they need to be because of societal pressures and pressures from their parents' belief systems, right? We're going through the day with like a handful of emotional experiences. We're going through the day saying the same words, believing the same ideas, being the same person each and every day, therefore having the same experiences. But little do we realize that deep within each and every one of you, Leah, Sharon, Raj, Eric, Wrench 86 North, Carissa, Ashley, deep within each and every one of you are different persona parts. Okay, I call them persona parts. There's a part there that is compassionate towards yourself. There's a part there that is adventurous. There's a part there that says, I don't need as much control as I believe I need. These are parts that have been suppressed, pushed down deep within you in order to maintain anxiety, in order to maintain this survival mode that you found yourself in. So when you start to experience a new feeling, you start to experience a new idea, you start to go, oh my God, I'm not going to wait anymore till my anxiety gets better. I'm going to be creative now. I'm going to write that book now. I'm going to do X now. I'm going to move to an island now. I'm not going to wait anymore. Okay? When you start to do that, or at least think that way, people get scared. They get afraid because it's something new. It's something different. Right? But that's just a part of you that's coming out to play again. And you have to allow these parts to come out and play. Right? You can't keep suppressing them. Let's see here. Patty, do you think we are identifying with our inner conflicts and not being ourselves? Identifying with our inner conflicts, yes. Identifying with certain labels and parental belief systems, yes. We are not being ourselves. No, I mean, speaking to my soul, that's what we need, right? We need that emotional connection. That's good. I don't believe we're being ourselves. I believe we tried to be ourselves, many years ago, and we were let down in a lot of ways. If we were only free to be who we were back in the day, I think we had a much better chance of avoiding anxiety in the future. Okay, but we weren't allowed to be who we wanted to be. Okay, we were told to do things this way and to believe in that and to stay in line. Do I believe the school system has something to do with that? Yeah, I believe that it does suck us away from our creative sides. Of course, there's benefits as well, but just pointing things out, right? Until, point number 3, before we get into your questions, until a health anxiety sufferer is certain about new emotionally led causes to their anxiety symptoms, they will continue telling themselves the same old self-sabotaging story. Until you make an emotional connection to the physical symptoms, you will continue to suffer. You will continue to fall for the stories that others are telling you that you are believing in. For a long time, my dizziness was connected to, you name the disease, and that's what it was connected to. Until I started to go, what is this dizziness really? Let me try to understand this dizziness. Comment below if you're experiencing this symptom. There's a whole disorder around the depersonalization world. I believe it's just a symptom of anxiety, but I started to go, hey, dizziness, why are you here all the time? And you know what the dizziness said? The dizziness said to protect you from overwhelming experiences again. And I started to go, hey, dizziness, what overwhelming experiences? And the dizziness went, well, this panic attack, and that anxiety attack, and that traumatic moment, and that childhood experience, and that moment of overwhelm. Don't you remember when kids were laughing at you? Don't you remember when you were up in the stage and you were really, really nervous? And I started to go, oh my God, dizziness. I think I see where you're coming from now. So let me get this right. You're present for the vast majority of every single day of my life to protect me from experiencing those levels of overwhelm again in my life. Could this be true? And the dizziness went, now you're getting it. Now you're getting it, right? And so I went, well, what's it going to take, dizziness, for you to kind of go? Well, you know what it's going to take, Dennis? It's going to take a life that is slower than the life that you're living right now. That's what the dizziness told me. It's going to take for you to commit to giving the body what it needs rather than continuing with these habits that you're currently engaged in. You got to drink more water. You got to stop using your phone so much. You have to, stay away from stimulation just because your favorite basketball team is playing tonight doesn't mean you have to live for that basketball game anymore. You've got a whole 12 hours before something like that, right? So enjoy the present moment. So the dizziness started to speak to me as if a child was speaking to me. And so I started to work with it. Okay, I started to work with it. And I wouldn't call it dizziness as much as I would call it like off balance feeling or foggy brain fog feeling or that sort of thing. It's not so much dizzy, right? But in any case, a symptom arose and I treated it the same way. Another symptom arose, I treated it the same way. Another symptom arose, I treated it the same way until I realized that my mind, my body, my spirit, my identity, my inner child needed to see the world from a new pair of lenses, a new pair of eyes. It needed to see things differently. It needed to hear things, feel things, taste, smell things differently. That's where reframing came in. I started emotionally reframing past experiences. Okay, and as I did, I started sweating. I started purging. My body started letting go of things, right? Because we're carrying a tremendous amount of weight in our bodies, this negative weight. It's weighing us down, right? It's contributing to the ideas that we're paying so much attention to, the catastrophic ideas. So I started to release things from a body level, right, rather than fight in my head. Because I went through therapy. I went through talk therapy, right? And the talking didn't help me. The thinking about things differently helped to some extent. But my body needed to be engaged. If I'm going to give you one really good piece of advice right now, it's whatever method you're engaged in right now, whatever you're trying to do to turn this ship around and start sailing it as the true captain of your life, make sure that you get the body engaged in some way, okay? Because I don't believe past trauma can just be thought about differently. I don't believe childhood trauma can be thought about differently. I believe the body needs to be engaged in some way in order for us to truly release the meaning of our past, right? And when you change the meaning of your past at a heart level, let me tell you something, everything changes. Okay, that's where emotional reframing comes into play. Hands up, down below, comment if you are in fact engaging in reframing through my videos, through my programs. Are you engaged in them right now? Because that's a component of it. Yoga's fantastic. Yoga's great. Yoga's great. Yoga's great for eliminating the rigidity in mind and body. That's where yoga comes in for me, in my interpretation, right? Yoga's great to go, hey, body, you don't have to be so stiff anymore. Hey, mind, right? We don't have to have only this idea about things, right? We can believe in other things. So yoga, for me, is fantastic for that flexibility in mind and body, right? Will it heal your traumas? Probably not. But are these little components that will lead you to the type of healing you need to do? I do believe it is, yeah. Those are my points for the day. Did they help you? Did they speak to you? It's nice to hang out with you. It really is. Now let me see if I can get into some of these questions. Dennis, I know anxiety is imaginary, but still can't let my body separate from feeling uneasy and worry. Well, there's a number of reasons for that, Raj. I seem to be intuitively led to thinking that you may have some secondary gains. Is there, was mom and dad uneasy? Did they worry a lot as well? Did you pick up on some of their behaviors, their actions and such? Is there a component to feeling uneasy that makes you feel safe? Very often anxiety has a certain degree of safety with it. And the idea of releasing ourselves from this uneasy feeling makes us afraid. Jody, loving the gram. You have an ice cream right now? Are you? Looked yummy. Good to see you, girl. What do you recommend? Tammy, Shawl, Thrasher. So what do you recommend for the body to heal trauma or let go of it? Yoga and... Well, yoga is... I wouldn't put yoga in the category of healing trauma. I would put it in the category of leading to exercises and instructions on how to truly heal trauma. At a mental level, you know, thinking about the trauma differently could help to some degree. I would go on YouTube. I would go on my YouTube channel. I would go on the playlist related to emotional reframing, and I would start to get my feet wet with those videos. I would close my eyes. I would give myself fully to those videos and the instructions in those reframing videos, and I would see where it takes me, especially the healing the inner child reframing experience. More so than anything, when you do the reframing practices, it comes down to the question of, if I could go back and experience that experience differently, what would I like to see happen instead, right? That's probably the most straightforward way of reframing, okay? As well, EMDR, okay, it can help, I believe, to some degree, right? You're engaged in the body, you're working on experiences, reframing those, good. EFT, if you're doing some tapping work, I believe that can help to some degree. I'm a big believer in imagery, and today what we're going to do, if you want to do it, I'm going to introduce you to image cycling, which I believe you need to do every morning and every night. This will help. This will help to a big degree. I believe this is one of those primary techniques and exercises that heals the past and sets us up for a creative future. So if you'd like, comment below and I can introduce you to the image cycling practice that you can do in the morning and night. We can do it together if you'd like. A little bit different than what you may be familiar with. What do you recommend to help with trusting your body? Speed. I would start with speed. I would really slow down in everything that you do, everything from eating food to showering to talking with people. Right now, I'm speaking quickly because I really want to get this content across, but most of the time you'll see me slow, very, deliberate, conscious, aware. But speed will play a big part in showing the body that the environments that you spend time in and everything else is in fact safe, right? Speed. I would focus on breathing patterns, right? The humming exercise that I gave you in the morning, I would do that repeatedly, okay? And when you get new ideas, I would follow those new ideas, right? Rather than the old catastrophic ones. So more than anything, when somebody asks about a how-to, right? How to do X, there may be a fear there of following a new direction, right? The unconscious mind will say one thing and your heart sense will say something else, okay? This is a really strange thing to say, but I'm gonna say it. Okay, I'm gonna say it. To a large extent, when you're healing anxiety in general, you're gonna feel dumber, you're gonna feel stupid, you're gonna feel disconnected to people, you're gonna feel disconnected to the God that your parents told you to believe in for a very long time. Your life, in many ways, will feel like it's falling apart when you're healing anxiety. Those are one types of interpretation, right? The analytical mind is getting out of the way. The survival-led way of living your life is getting out of the way. You're no longer speeding through your day, hoping that symptoms don't arise, right? It's different now. You're now opening yourself up to weird stuff, like Vicky Grover just said, right? Lots of weird stuff. You know, I'm going to learn a new language. I'm going to write a book. I'm not going to wait for the right time anymore, because waiting for the right time is, in fact, a defense mechanism. Okay, the inner child does this, the subconscious mind does this and gives you reasons not to change. It's not the right time, okay, in order for you to stay in that survival state. So when you go through your day and you go, oh, no, I can't do X because of this, right? That's not you speaking. Okay, that's a part of you that wants to keep you protected. Okay? And you go about your day this way, recognizing what's really coming from you and what's coming from the unconscious sides of you. Okay, a couple people are saying they'd love to learn about image cycling. Okay, all right. Does that help? Comment below if what I just said helps you. We're definitely going to get back to some Facebook Lives, guys, I promise. So if you haven't joined our newest Facebook page, please do. Facebook didn't like me on the old one. Unfortunately, 30,000 people had to go bye-bye. Created a new one and rolling with it. Dennis, how do we trust the body if it's being led by the inner child? Leah, the way to do that is to create a new relationship with everything that you deem is coming from the inner child. Okay? Let me tell you what comes from the inner child. Okay, mental defense mechanisms. So write this down. You know, when I feel like I'm incapable of something, that's inner child. Okay? When I feel like something will never go away, that's inner child, okay? When I feel a certain feeling of being afraid of something or sensitized, or I feel shaky and trembling and such, that's the inner child. When I get so emotionally attached to something, okay, and I know it's not helpful, that's the inner child. For example, food. You come home at night, first thing you want is junk food because, you know, you're depleted. That's inner child. So when these types of feelings show up, when these types of emotions show up, when these types of symptoms show up, okay, just the simple mindset where you're going, hey, I sense that this is coming from the inner child subconscious mind, just that mindset will lead you intuitively to knowing what to do in that moment. You won't be asking so many how do I type questions anymore when you actually reel in this mindset. Oh, that's inner child trying to keep me in the identity of anxiety because it's afraid of moving forward. It's afraid of leaving the comfort zones. Comfort zones in terms of how I think, what I say to people, you know, all that stuff. You get to a point where you realize something's coming from the inner child and you go, well, you know, I'll let my actions guide you instead of overthinking this and creating a dialogue between me and you, right? So you'll know what to do. As long as you have the right mindset, you're going, that's inner child. Symptom, screaming, that's inner child. Okay? My inner child, Mel H., how are you? My inner child ran my life for 40 years. I'm in second year of recovery and you've helped so much. That's very nice that you would allow me to be a part of your healing. That's great. Awesome. I mean, those are the kinds of things that are available to all of us. We are capable of messages like Mel H. just shared with us, right? The inner child loves us so much. Harbor T. Room says something that is, it's like something you would never really spend much time on, right? But my God, like the anxiety is protecting me because of all this love. The symptoms are protecting me because of all this love. The defense mechanisms, all of these things that I feel, the things that I unconsciously do throughout the day, God, this system loves me so much and just wants to maintain my survival. Not only my physical survival, but my social survival and everything else. Gosh, so much love. I just wish it loved me less. Right? That's what most of us are saying. Just love me less. Okay, so it's up to us as the adults, the experienced ones, the conscious ones, to guide sensations, symptoms, unconscious ideas, unconscious behaviors, old habits, old patterns, belief systems that aren't ours, connected to parents, authority figures, to guide inner child in any which way that feels right. This is important. It's important that you stop looking for how to do things correctly. Okay, because that's not going to work. You're always going to be looking. At some point in this journey, you're going to have to trust the guidance that arises. Charles, do you have a kid? Do you have a child? Do you have your own child? Talk to your own inner child the same way you talk to your own kids. In here, through here. If I could get one really important message across today, it would be this. Leah, that's helpful. Awesome. Charles, please keep the dialogue going. Don't push anxiety away. It's trying to send you messages to maybe make changes in your life. The inner child subconscious mind is open to changes, Sharon. Yes, it is open to changes. But in order for it to change the way it sees the world and leave anxiety behind, it has to feel safe with the changes that you want to make. Okay? It has to feel safe with the changes that you want to make. Okay? So, you know what I did? And maybe some of you can relate to this, right? When I was going through panic disorder, right? Health, anxiety, OCD, generalized, it's all the same, right? It's all connected. It's not the same, it's all connected. Okay, you got one, you probably have a bunch of others. Okay, when I had these, I would spend a lot of time at the emergency room, like 10, 12, 14 years ago. Okay, and I knew, my intuition spoke to me and said, hey, you got to go back to that emergency room because we don't feel safe there. When you drive by the emergency room, maybe I didn't get the same panicky feelings right away, but they showed up later on at work. It's like, are you sure you're going to drive back that way again? Don't you remember how you felt in that emergency room, in the waiting room? I knew what I had to do. I grabbed a book, I went to the emergency room, and I sat there for hours. Don't do it now, okay? But I'm just giving you an example. I went there and I sat there for hours. When I got to a place of feeling pleasant in that environment, I left. If I drove by the emergency room and I didn't have a neutral or pleasant feeling around it, what did I do? I went back in there. I sat there, I read another book, I spoke to people around. I said, body, okay, I know we experienced X before, but it's not the way you think it is. The meaning has changed. This is a safe place. So that created a snowball effect. This is exposure 101, right? This is exposure 101. And when I talk about exposure, I don't just talk about physical exposure to environments. I'm talking about exposing yourself to new ideas, right? Can you imagine having a brand new idea around your symptom? One that says, oh my God, this is seeped in protection and love and inner child work. Can you imagine reeling that in, how different your life is going to be? Like, totally different. Everything's going to change. What you do and how you do it's going to change. So when we talk about exposure work, I'm talking about you need to expose yourself to new ideas, new environments, new types of people. A lot of people say, oh, I only get into relationship with the bad boys. Ladies, the bad boys. I seem to be attracted to the bad boys, right, in the dating scene. Why? Why are you so addicted to the bad boys? Have you ever considered the reason for why you're addicted to the bad boys? Right? You know why? Do you want to know why? Because of the addiction to suffering. Because of the addiction to suffering. A good boy comes around and puts you first. You go on a date with that person. They listen to you. They agree with you certain times. You have a chemistry that's different, one that's different from the bad boys. And what do? It's just not my type. It's just not my type. It's not my type. Is that inner child work or what? Right? Right? I mean, that's inner child work. These people are miserable. If you would have gave the good boy a chance, went on a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th date, you would look at those bad boys and go, my God, I deserve better. I deserve so much better. And I have it right now. Right? This goes for other things as well. The addiction to suffering is very prevalent in today's world. But it's not until we realize that we're addicted that we can start to change it. Addicted to suffering, right? That's why I watch all these reality shows. Right? That's why I hang out with these negative people. That's why I eat the foods I eat. And so on. Joseph, could feeling stuck sometimes be related to boredom, addiction to suffering? Feeling stuck sometimes be related to boredom. I believe that feeling stuck is kind of that same defense mechanism that doesn't want you to move forward into uncharted territory, Joseph, right? I mean, remember that if something is unfamiliar, it also means that it's unsafe to your body, okay? And your body will react in a certain way, and your mind will also jump in. So if you're feeling stuck, then I believe that's nothing more than unconscious fear, right? Like it's a fear of taking something on. It's a fear of stepping out of this world. It's a fear of stepping out of who you believe society wants you to be, okay? And when you go out there and you go for a walk in nature by yourself and you smile at people, right? And you touch a tree and you hug a tree and someone walks by and goes, my God, that guy's crazy. I've had that multiple times. Right? It's your choice whether you want to hug a tree or not while people are walking by. Okay, they're definitely going to have some kind of judgment over you. Are you willing to live with that or not? My God, you could lose that moment where you really want to connect with that tree. So, Joseph, I do believe it has something to do with the addiction to suffering, number one. I do believe it has a lot to do with unconscious fear, number two. Because we don't consciously fear the things that we fear. We don't, right? But we are led to believe that it should be feared. Dennis, can you recover from anxiety without going too past? Good question. Now, my answer to that would be you got to differentiate stress from anxiety first. Stress and anxiety are two totally different things. If you're living your life throughout the day and you feel moments of stress, that's not anxiety. Anxiety is like a chronic, never-ending cycle of feeling like you're suffering, right? That could be physical, mental, emotional, obviously spiritual. Okay, so the first thing is to recognize, am I just stressed out right now, or is this really anxiety? Okay. If it is anxiety, I believe it's very important that you clean up your past. Okay? It's very important that you clean up your past in order to move forward. And we're about to do a technique that will touch on this. To answer your question, I believe it's very difficult to heal anxiety if you don't heal the interpretations made by your childhood over what happened. Dennis, what is a good way to address anticipatory anxiety? Rex Forest Wanders, go on, well, you're on my YouTube channel, but you can search Future Transformation Anxiety Guy. Put those keywords in, Future Transformation Anxiety Guy. In order to address the anticipatory anxiety that's coming from your inner child, you need to imagine the scenario in a different way. Okay, so we're about to do something like that. I'm afraid to, go there. Okay, well, close your eyes. Imagine that you're there already, and if you could have the experience go the way you want it to, what would you see? What would you hear? What would you feel? Go ahead and imagine that. Let me tell you guys something, okay? If you're confused about what to do, get really good at mental movies. Really good at mental movies. Simply running these mental movies in your head of what you want to see happen instead. Okay? If you're confused about what to do, master this. Okay? Morning and night, afternoon, as much as you can, master this. It'll change the way you feel. It'll reprogram things at a subconscious level if there's enough feeling attached to the images, right? Can we reframe that anxiety if it's generational? I believe we can. Yeah, I believe we can. Now we definitely need to address other aspects, right? We can talk about past lives. We can talk about generational anxiety. I believe we can. Yeah. If you really want to go there, I had a past life experience recently where it's possible that my anxiety was formed there. If you believe in that sort of thing, it showed up. I took care of it. And I believe it helped. Christian Zerildi, how are you? How do I handle unexpected things happening when I have a routine during recovery? Embrace the unexpected things. Okay? If the unexpected does show up, remind yourself of what you like about it. Okay? Work with it. Create a relationship with it. Place a new meaning over it. Okay? Because you won't heal anxiety until you make peace with the unexpected things. Okay? You won't heal anxiety until you make peace with the unexpected things. Specifically, which subject, Leah? Mohammed, Dennis, does trauma happen inside you, not what happened to you? Yes, it's an inner process, I believe. I believe that trauma gets stored in certain parts of the body. I believe that later on in life we pay the price of that through discomforts in the body and everything else if the trauma is in fact not released. Yeah. Oh, past lives. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a really interesting area that you could definitely dive into, Leah. And yeah, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, for sure. Some elements make me feel uneasy and worry. How to deal with that? Understand again that it's not really you that's feeling uneasy. It's more so the inner child. And I believe you need to respond rather than react in those moments. There's a difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is unconscious, responding is conscious, right? So when you feel uneasy and worry about things, I think it's very important to to trust what your intuition is telling you to do in that moment, right? And to roll with that, because there's always another way to deal with something. There's always a different way to respond. There's always a different way to respond to things. Dennis, I'm scared to go to the doctors because I have high blood pressure. How can I fix this? First and foremost, why? There's an underlying reason for why. I think you're less afraid of the high blood pressure and more afraid of the uncertainty of what is to come from the doctor, possibly, right? I think we have to be more rational in those moments, Jung. I think it's very important that you work with mental movies, imagery exercises, where you're at the doctor and you're getting monitored, and 120 over 80, you're fine. You're experiencing that. Images have a big say in how the body responds to things. So I would work with images, mental movies and such, which we are about to do. And number two, I believe there's always something new to worry about until you get to a place where you go, man, this really is a cycle. This is a pattern that I need to stop. I need to replace it with a new pattern. But when you stress less about things, your blood pressure will go down. When you see things differently, when you're not so rigid anymore, when you're more flexible in how you think about things, when you spend more time in nature, when you do these types of things, your body will respond positively. So, do you have a pen and paper ready, my friends? Comment below, tell me you're ready. We're going to kind of go through this quite quickly, okay? But this is a technique that you can use on a daily basis. You must use on a daily basis. Comment below, let me know that you are. Jung, you're here. Right? You're here. You're listening to this stuff, right? You're here. Apply it. Understand it, okay? Watch this live a couple times. I mean, the answers are here, my friends, right? Ready? Yeah, I mean, you're here. There's a fear of applying the things that you're learning, possibly, right? So we need to. I believe the blood pressure. This is not a doctor, but I believe the blood pressure can also be situational. Right? You can go to the doctor, and because of some very recent events like waiting in the waiting room and such, your blood pressure can be high and it can be low again. But you don't want to play this roller coaster game, right? You don't want to get caught up in that, right? When you start to heal, the physical body comes second. Most of you will understand what I mean by that. But on that piece of paper, at the top, just write down image cycling. Okay. Now, number one, I want you to write down one aspect of your life or environment where you experience anxiety and you want to change it. Just write that down. Number one. It could be at home, could be when you come home, could be at work, could be when you're driving, could be when you're on a plane, could be this, could be that. What comes to you first? Don't think about it, just feel the answer. Okay? And when you feel the answer, write it down, number one. Let me know when you got number one down. We're only going to do 5. Number one, I want to change, I want to reverse my anxiety in this particular situation. Write down your answer in the comment. Give this video a like if you're enjoying the content. Leah, what did you write down? Let's see people's answers. I want to make sure that we're doing this correctly. What did you write down? Okay. Good. We're doing this together, guys. Don't just sit back and feel like you don't have to do the work to heal. You got to do the work to heal, so please do the work with me, okay? Be specific. What area of your life do you want to change? Bedtime. Good, Patty, that's really good. Moving out of the home. Okay, Rajan, good. Being home alone. These are specific, good. Now write number 2. In this area of my life, I want to reverse my anxiety. I want to go through the experience with a sense of peace, with a sense of ease. Second, number 2. Write it down. What would number 2 be? Don't give it too much thought. You know yourself better than anybody else. Write it down. Number 2. NRC, thank you. Appreciate it. Much love. Much love. What's number 2, guys? I want to live present. I don't know if that's specific enough. In what environment? At what time of the day? Doing what? Okay, Patty, good. So while you're going to the office, correct? Okay, Sharon says, ease the stress at work. Good. So we have number 1, we have number 2. Okay, number 2, Travis, being able to go places without feeling trapped away from home. What place specifically? Okay, write down what place specifically. Leah, great, while being physical. What sport specifically? Okay, in what environment? Gym, whatever. Okay, let's get specific, guys. So you got number 1, you got number 2, the 2 aspects you want to change. Lessen anxiety, rid yourself of anxiety. Stuck in the room, on chai, okay. What room? Write it down. Okay, now do number 3. Number 3, where else? With who? And number 3 and the other ones may feel like you're not as anxious, right? But that feeling of sensitivity is still there, lingering in the background, right? It's like in the body, it's in the mind. Write down number 3, right? Because if it is anxiety, it's most likely affecting many different aspects. Driving anywhere by myself. Okay, Millie, so you're in your car, right? Driving. Travis, when I'm with my wife. Okay. Good, guys. Well done. Well done. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. So at this point, you should see number 1, number 2, number 3. Awesome. 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 Waiting for a call at work. Good. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Aspects of your life that you want to change, release the anxiety from. Number 4. 2 to go. Number 4. Where else? With who? Doing what? What time of the day? All right. Maybe sleep can be difficult sometimes for anxiety sufferers. Maybe it's that relationship with sleep that needs to change. Right? Don't overthink it, just write it down. What's your number 4? Comment below. All right. Okay, good, Sharon. Upon waking up. Good. Very good. Very good. Leah, fantastic. Talking to my sister. Okay. Okay, so the attacks before bedtime, Rex. That's good. That's good. Let's get specific. Okay. Excellent, guys. So now you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Final one, number 5. Write down number 5. Maybe it's a stretch for some of you. Write down number 5. And what aspect of your life do you want to rid yourself of the anxiety that you feel? Okay. Get specific. Where? Who are you with? What time is it throughout the day? The more specific, the better. Okay. Do this for the next 2 weeks, this practice that we're going to be doing, and things are going to really start changing. Okay? Travis, okay, taking any medication. Okay? Okay. Good. All right. So, do we have 5? Do we have 5? Comment below if you got 5. Okay, good. I could, Nicole, if you want me to. Yeah, I could post them on Facebook, sure. Got 5, Travis, good. Waiting for everybody. Cool, okay. Let's get more people commenting. Make sure you got your 5. Okay, Dave, good. Awesome. Okay, Mel, good. Specific with which relationship? I'm guessing husband, maybe. All right, cool. Oh, great. Okay, good job, guys. So, here's our goal. Okay, so our goal, Facebook, please. Okay. Our goal is to run a specific image in our head or kind of a slow motion movie, your choice, whichever one feels right for you. Okay, of the exact way you desire that experience to go instead. Okay, so we're going to practice here. You ready? When I say change, the word change, you're going to open your eyes, okay, and you're going to go to number 2. You're going to look at number 2 on your list and you're going to go, okay, if I could make the anxiety go away completely and have a pleasant experience within number 2, what would I like to see, hear, feel, taste, and smell instead? How do I want the experience to go? Emotionally, what do I want to feel? If it was absolutely perfect, okay, and obviously perfectionism is something we're going to get away from, but if you could imagine it being the exact way you want it to go prior to sleep, within relationships, what would you like to see instead? Instead of unconsciously imagining the worst, we are going to consciously imagine the best, and your life is going to change. So, look at your number 1. Look at your number 1, guys. Close your eyes and imagine number 1 being exactly the way you want it to go instead. Anxiety-free, carefree, living at peace. Number 1. Close your eyes and imagine it. Add feeling to it. Connect to it. Connect your body to it. Be in that exact moment. Number 1. Exactly the way you want it to go. Living free. Good. Now open your eyes. Look at number 2. If number 2 was exactly the way you wanted it to go instead, anxiety-free, inner peace, happiness, all those things, close your eyes and imagine it being that way. Like I said, if a picture feels better, that's fine. Movie, that's fine as well. Picture's better. Okay? Good. Notice how you feel in number 2. Good. Step into it fully. Completely in that present moment. It's exactly the way you want it to be, that experience. You're so free. And open your eyes. Go to number 3. Notice what number 3 is on your list. Okay. Now close your eyes and imagine it being exactly the way you want it to be. Situation number 3. There is no more anxiety anymore. None. It's so easy. It's so easy. You are at such ease. It's so simple. You are happy. You are healthy. That's right. You are connected. Open your eyes. Good. Go to number 4. Notice number 4. Take a note of it. Close your eyes and imagine number 4 being exactly the way you want it to be instead. Okay? Exactly the way you want it to be instead. There's no more suffering. There's no more fighting. You're free. Step into it fully. Notice what you see. Notice what you hear. Notice what it feels like when number 4 is perfect, when you're anxiety-free. Allow yourself, key word, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling right now. Allow yourself to feel it. Don't force it. Open your eyes, go to number 5. Take note of number 5. Close your eyes and imagine it being exactly the way you want it to be instead of what you've been imagining it to be. You are at ease. It's a simple situation. There is no anxiety whatsoever. Step into that moment fully, feel it fully, become it fully. In mind, in body, in spirit. Get tingly feelings? Good. You're sweating? Good. Shaking? That's fine. Just let go to number 5. Now, open your eyes again. Come on back. And what's the biggest lesson that you took from that experience? Write it down in the comments section. Did it help? In what way did it help? What did you learn about yourself? Let's get some feedback. Let's get some feedback. Okay, Nicolo said the image cycling exercise we just did is incredibly effective. Okay. Feeling a smile on my face, yet some tears. Okay. Patty, that may be connected to some guilt around feeling better. I'm letting go of all my health anxiety symptom. Good. Okay, so what else? What else, guys? What else did you get from this? Okay, so Jung was relaxed. Be honest, okay? Feels good. Feels light. So nice, Vicky says. Okay. It helped me feel like it is actually possible. Fantastic. That hope is a great place to start. Patty says, wow, this is huge. I'm going to do this many times. I do it on a regular basis in the morning. Write this down. Morning, just prior to going to bed, because those are the times where your subconscious mind is most open to suggestion. Okay? First 5 minutes upon waking, last 5 minutes before going to sleep, kind of the end of the day. Now, we're going to do it the right way now. Look at your list. Only open your eyes if you have to look at your list again. We're going to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every time I say change. Got it? Okay. If you don't know what the next number is, okay, you look at number 3, you close your eyes again. If you already know what number 4 is, don't open your eyes. Look at your list. After this, we will definitely be going into a few more questions. Tammy, good stuff. All right. Take a note of number 1. Close your eyes. Imagine it being exactly the way you want it to be. In mind, body, and spirit. Step into it. Anxiety-free, number 1. In that environment. With people, if there's people. If there's nobody, that's fine. Imagine it in great detail. That's right. Change. Go to number 2. And when you go to number 2, you can look at your list. Close your eyes again if you need to. That's right. Number 2. Imagine it exactly the way you want it to be. Step into it fully. Number 3. Open your eyes, close your eyes if you need to. Imagine number 3 being exactly the way you want it to be, anxiety-free. Good. Step into it. Don't just imagine it. Feel it. That's right. Number 4. Open your eyes if you need to before you close them. Yes. Whatever number 4 is. That's right. Step into it fully. Good. Become it. Become it right now. Become it right now. It's not just a nice idea. Become number 4. Change. Go to number 5. Step into it. Feel it. Put your heart into it. That's right. Imagine it happening. You are anxiety free in number 5. That's right. Completely. Completely free of the labels. Completely free of the judgments. Completely free of the analytical mind. You have stepped out of it. Number 5. Good. Open your eyes. Take note. Number 1. Close your eyes. Imagine it in great detail. Number 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. 1. 2. Feel it completely. 3. Feel it completely. Step into it. You can do this. 4. Leave all the doubts behind you. There are no doubts. You're capable of anything. 5. Step into it fully. You have become it. You are free. 1. 2. 3. 4. No doubts. 5. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Stay with me. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. You can do this. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. You are taking control of your life now. It may feel challenging. That's okay. Do your best. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Open your eyes. Comment below. How do you feel? Now do yourself a favor. With your eyes open and consciously, think about the number 2 experience. Think about number 2. How do you feel towards it right in this moment? I'm curious. How do you feel towards number 2 right now, in this very moment? How do you feel towards it? How is it different from yesterday, for example? Comment below. Let's hear it. How does number 2 look right now? Good job, Patty. Good job, Leah. That's great. This is something that you can practice on a daily basis, and within 1 week, you're going to be cycling through these images like rapid, right? Rapid. Vicky feels free. Charles feels relaxed. Number 2 doesn't feel as scary, LaShonda. That's what we want to hear. Number 2 doesn't feel as scary. Does it feel the same for you, number 2? And there may be a strange feeling right now. There may be an empty kind of feeling like, damn, I'm not as afraid, right? When we get that empty feeling, many times we get afraid or uncomfortable around it. Don't, okay? Embrace it. Because that emptiness or that idea of, oh, I'm not judging it, I don't have a negative feeling towards it, I'm not as emotional towards it, that's really kind of the beginning stage. It's a really important test for you to pass, right? Yes, I feel really weird, Leah says. Good. Remember what we said. You're going to do weird things and you're going to feel weird things, right? When this starts to happen, you need to embrace the weird, right? It's kind of messy. It's very different. Chrissy Shavers, you're very welcome. Very welcome. Feel like number 2 is just a little bump on the road. Will you look at that? Maybe this was something you were obsessing over for many, many months, weeks, years. Look at it. What did we do? It just took a few moments. Biggest lesson, Hagrid, Lemonhead. I felt lighter, hopeful, less focus on any of the symptoms, tears and happiness. Weird indeed, but how do we embrace it, Dennis? You accept it. You accept it, Eric. You accept it. What feels weird is normal. What feels strange and different is peaceful. That's how you embrace it. You accept it. You don't try to control it. You don't question what it is or where it's going to lead to. You just accept it, okay? And you stay in that space for as long as you can. A few tears as well. Okay, good. So I want you to make me a promise. Heck, make yourself a promise, okay? That you will use this imagery-based technique about 3 or 4 rounds, okay, 3 or 4 rounds, the full 5. When you wake up in the morning, okay, and just before going to bed. Same pictures, you pick the speed. Eric feels so happy. Wow. Transformational stuff. See how capable you are. That was powerful. You're very welcome, Ocean Sky. Awesome. Promise me in the comment section, give this video a like if in fact you benefited from it. If you like the image cycling practice and want more of these types of YouTube lives, give the video a like and I will make sure that I'm here for you. You are giddy. Many times I find later on in the day you tend to spontaneously laugh, hysterical laughter, that sort of thing. Anything that happens spontaneously like that, try not to question it, just roll with it. How do I stop watching drama on TV and bad music? Replace it with something else instead. Okay, because it's easier to replace something than it is to stop something. I'm hungry. Okay, time to go eat then. Okay, good. Promise me in the comment section that you'll use this in the morning and at night. Once in the morning, once at night. Promise yourself, and on that piece of paper, make sure that you write something down, a sentence there that says, I promise that I will add these 2 habits, this 1 habit to my morning and evening prior to sleeping. Image cycling. Remember, we are consciously imagining the best, right? Rather than unconsciously imagining the worst, okay? If you look at all the greatest entrepreneurs, the people that are most at peace, the best athletes in the world, okay, this is what they do. This is most likely the most powerful manifesting exercise you'll ever do in your life, right? Okay, a lot of promises here that you will implement this into your life daily. Fantastic. Good. Good. Awesome. Let's take some final questions, guys, before I go have my breakfast. Very late breakfast. Dave, you're very welcome. Dave the Fisherman. Zach Kunkel. All is well, my friend. How can I build self-esteem? Find out where you lost it. Find out where you lost it and do some reflecting. Okay? Find out where, when you lost it. More YouTube lives. All right. I always feel better during and afterwards. That's great. Because you're amongst like-minded energy, really. I mean, this group, whatever, I feel like, in our lifetime, we're really led to the right information at the right time, right? I really feel like it is a kind of a stepping stone. And if you weren't ready to hear this and do this with me, you wouldn't be here. That's what I believe. Okay, so this is exactly where you need to be right now, which is great. I like biting my nails. Is this nervousness, anxiety? It can be, but it's definitely a symptom to something else. Just make sure, Jung, that you're aware of what you're thinking about, what you're imagining in those moments when you're biting your nails, okay? And if you get the chance, do the image cycling exercise morning and evening, and it will hopefully take care of that. As well, if you want to add the in the moment work, put some kind of spicy pepper on your nails, and you'll stop biting them. What are your thoughts on caffeine? Does it contribute to poor mental health and dehydration? 100%. I believe that a small amount, people are not capable of drinking a small amount. It's either a full cup or nothing, or multiple cups throughout the day. Here's what I believe. I believe that what we should be focusing on right now is kind of herbal teas that are not caffeinated. Those I would highly, highly recommend. Apparently, we have webcam chat, hot girls and hot boys interfering. So let me see what I can do about that. That is, of course, on your own time. Hide user. Okay. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. Yeah, I would end the caffeine once and for all, 100%. Does it keep us addicted to suffering? Yes. Does it keep us overstimulated? Yes. Does it? The idea that it makes us more productive is actually a defense mechanism. Okay. Damn bots. I know. Oh, there's more. I gotta delete this one too, or block it, or whatever. Oh, I hid you. Aha. Aha. No more hot girls and boys video chat for you. All right. What else we got here? I don't have an admin for this. I do not, Patty. Could you explain, Nicole Kelso, could you explain the difference in distracting yourself from anxiety and avoiding anxiety? I believe distracting yourself from anxiety, I think that we live in a society where that is being confused with real solutions. I believe that the mobile device is the greatest distractor of anxiety. I believe that you don't need and should not use your mobile device for in-the-moment work. When I mean in-the-moment work is when you feel the anxiety coming on. I believe, distracting yourself and avoiding anxiety are pretty much the same thing, very interconnected. So you need to spot the difference, Nicole, between a real strategy that demands that you work with the symptoms and a strategy that you continue to use that makes you run from them and distract from them, because this is kind of that reflection work that we need to do at some points in this journey, right? We have to do the reflecting work at some point. So reflect on it and realize that, at this time of the day when I'm doing this, here's what I'm doing, and I keep doing it, okay, which keeps me in that cycle, okay? I would do some reflecting work on it. Can we be addicted to sleep hypnosis videos? I can't sleep without them. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I don't believe it's a bad thing. I wouldn't call it an addiction. I believe it's more so a tool that you're using right now that you possibly need to use. Just make sure that the phone or the device or whatever it is away from your body while you're sleeping. Other than that, I wouldn't get too caught up in it. If that's working for you, that's great. I'm a big fan of hypnosis. I use hypnosis with myself and others. So keep going. Let's see here. Matthew, we touched quite in depth on derealization as a form of an anxiety symptom earlier. So when I post this, please just rewatch it. I believe it is a form of anxiety. I believe it is deeply connected to the protective mechanisms within us that want to keep us safe and protected and within our comfort zones. I listen to heavy rain while I sleep. Isn't that nice? Fantastic. Have you ever tried moon milk, Mel Smith? The drink made with ashwagandha. Oh, 100%. I have not tried moon milk, but I have committed to ashwagandha many years ago. For any herbal related questions, I would go on YouTube, look up Herbs with Robin, and I would ask her as many questions as you want. Much love, Eric. In order to break realization, you have to build a new relationship with the actual symptom that you're questioning and running from and distracting from. That's number one. Number two, you need to slow down your life. Number three, you got to reframe your traumas. Dennis, do you think you'll ever do a retreat experience? Leah, 100%. I want to do one here in Bali, as it will be the most magical experience most people will ever have in their lives. I'm looking at it right now. Tourism just opened up here, so stay tuned. Yeah. Or if I have to travel somewhere, I will. But I did a lot of my seminars and such along the West Coast. California, Vancouver. Most likely we'll do East Coast this time if it does happen. I miss New York, Toronto, pretty cool, that sort of thing. So we'll see. Yeah, love you all. Have a wonderful morning. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so very much for joining me here today. I hope it was beneficial. I hope that it helped you in some way. I hope that it opened your eyes to what's possible for you, because anything is possible for you. These are not just words. Through the image cycling that we did today, you realized that you can trust in a new idea. You realize that your body can heal itself and you can leave it alone at certain times of the day. And you realize other things as well. I want you to build on that clarity. Okay, I want you to build on those epiphanies. And honestly, like I said, use the image cycling morning and evening. Commit to it. Hot girls and hot boys are back. Got to do something about that next time. Love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, week, life. You're on the way. You're really on the way. Build on what we did today. Love you all, and if you get a chance, please buy webcams. That's right. If you get a chance, share this with somebody. Share this with a group. Share this with a forum that might benefit from it, because there are a lot of people suffering out there, and can use it, right? Love you all. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me. You're welcome. Bye, guys.